All right, so today we'll be looking at colors and fields. Colors and fields. We have looked at how to use text. I taught us how to use text here. I taught us how to use text in the last class. How to convert from artistic text to paragraph text, from paragraph text to artistic text, from artistic text uh, to curve, and from paragraph text to curve also. I've also shown us how to make a text to go around a path. Okay. We've also touched shape creation. We've seen how to create shapes from various tools. Okay. We've seen how to align and distribute. How to align, like this one is aligned to the very edge of this rectangle. Okay, we've also created mini uh, a mini house illustration. Okay, but today we are specifically going to look at colors. We'll talk about the theories and and how to use them practically. Okay, so first thing you need to know about colors are the two color modes. It's two very important color modes. Yeah, we have the RGB color mode and we have the CMYK color mode. Okay, RGB means red, green, and blue. Okay, red, green, and blue. While CMYK means cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Okay, so that is the uh, meaning of the RGB and CMYK. RGB is called an additive color. Okay, an additive color type because it it works with light. Okay, it works with light. It's the color system that our screens use. Our screens, laptop screens, TV screens, phone screens. That is the RGB system of colors that we are talking about. Okay, then the CMYK basically is the color of paint. Okay, it's called subtractive. Is a subtractive color system. Paint or physical objects. Most physical objects that have colors are painted. Some physical objects that have colors are painted. So that paint, the color of paint, the color of ink, the color of printing is the color system that all those things use is the CMYK system because that is the real world ink or paint uh, based color. Okay, and as we'll see, the CMYK is kind of duller than the RGB system. Okay, um, let me just show us from here. Okay, so this is I'm going to color this orange. Let me just remove the outline. Okay, and remove the outline, and I'll duplicate this. Now, by default, most of the work you do on CorelDRAW will be in RGB. To be in Tools, Windows, Color Management. So we see primary color mode RGB. Okay, so that's the primary color mode of your designs by default. Okay, so if you give this a CMYK value now. mm, Give this a CMYK value, convert, come to properties, your properties docker, and you click on fill. It has to be in fill. Then you come to this drop down here and click here and convert it to CMYK palette. See, it drops. It's duller than this one. This one is RGB, this one is CMYK. Do you understand? So this CMYK color system um is usually duller than the RGB color system. Okay. Now, um, most colors or all the colors you'll be working with here have their corresponding CMYK value. So if I double click on this orange, See the RGB value, see the CMYK value. All right. Now, this is how it should be ideally, okay? But when you go to print when you go to print your work and you eventually print it, sometimes it so happens that you do not get exactly the color used in designing RGB because it was converted to what? CMYK. Okay, CMYK. So that is it. I know it can be a little tricky. There's also another color system called the Pantone color system. I'm not going to go into all of that. That one tries to marry the RGB color mode and the CMYK color mode into one universal system. Right? You see Pantone a lot in CorelDRAW. Let me even show you here. See Pantone. Uh, Pantone is not here. You see Pantone in other areas. Okay, yeah, see it. This is sports. This is Pantone. Yeah, HKS. There's Pantone. There is HKS. There's four colored tone colors, spectral master colors, Toyo color finder. Okay, so all of these are color systems or color modes. But the most important ones are RGB and CMYK. All right, so having said that, let's go into other details about colors. Okay. Um, so once you open CorelDRAW, once you start working on CorelDRAW, you always notice this. This is what we call a color palette. Okay, a color palette. It's your default color palette, and default is in RGB. Okay, default is always in RGB. Sorry, let me change this back to RGB palette. Okay, so the default is always in RGB. All your colors here are in RGB. All right. So when you are working on your designs, all this any color you use here is in RGB, except you change um your working your default uh, color palette. All right, your default color system from the tools option I showed you earlier. So this color palette, then what you have here is called the document palette. Document palette, it shows all the colors you've used in this document. As we have been working from lesson one, you've seen all the colors that we've been using. They are all here. Okay, they are all here. And then if you delete any of these colors, if you delete any of these colors, you can delete them. Right click, delete color, right click, delete color, right click, delete color. Now all those colors I deleted, remember that they are all here. They are here on page one. Okay, they are here on page one. They are the most recent colors we've used. So if you delete all those colors, even if you are not on that page, you come here and you right click on any color, right click on any color, and you say edit color. Okay, edit color, and sorry, you say okay. Sorry, I'm going to do that again. Delete color, delete color, delete color, delete color, and you want to add documents palette. Okay, you come here, Windows, color palettes, and then you say add colors from documents. Once you click on add colors from documents, all those colors return. Okay, so if you worked on this project and somehow you mistakenly or somebody came and wiped out all your colors, all your documents color palettes, all your documents palette, and you want to get them back because you want to be consistent with the colors you are using, You can always restore them here, just like I showed you. Windows, color palettes, add colors from documents. So all the colors you've used in this particular document, this CorelDRAW tutorial, this particular document from all the 5 pages will appear here at once. Do you understand? So that is how it works on CorelDRAW. And then so let's work on let me show you how to apply colors to your designs. Okay. Meanwhile, we've already seen how I've been applying colors to the designs that we've been doing. We've seen how I applied color to text. We've seen how I apply color to fields and to shapes and to outlines. But just to recap, let me show us again how to apply color. So I'm just going to duplicate this now, maybe expand it a little more so that we can appreciate the colors being added. So this is a rectangle shape. Okay, if I change, I can click here to make it white. I can click here. This is no fill. See how it's a slash. You see that red line going across. It tells you that that is no fill. You can also see it here. Okay, it's usually there by default. So if I click this, see the fill is gone. This is fill. Hmm? This is outline. There is no fill, there is no outline, but the shape exists. So to show that the shape exists, we can give it color again. Any color. Let's use one of our document palettes, one of the colors from our document palettes. I just like orange, so pardon me. uh, so this is the fill. You can see here, fill is orange, FF6600. Now this FF6600, this ash FF6600 is another color system, but it's a color system that instead of giving you the RGB value to tell you what amount red is, to tell you what amount blue is, and what amount, let me double click it to show you. Instead of telling you all these things, 22551020, or telling you the CMYK value 077100, it just gives you one number. It just gives you one alphanumeric code. One alphanumeric code. By alphanumeric, I mean mixture of letters and numbers. Okay, so it gives you one alphanumeric code that tells you the exact color. This is what most designers use. So if I'm a designer and you ask me for the color code, I'll give you this. Okay, I'll always give you this. Then once you apply it, you see the RGB and the CMYK values for that color. Do you understand? It's called the hex code. So if I ask you what's the hex code of this color, this is what I'm expecting you to tell me. I'm not expecting you to tell me the RGB or the CMYK. Just give me this. With this, I can get the RGB value and the CMYK value. Do you understand? Okay. Um, so for example, now um, I double click this. I double click this, and I have a color code in my head that I want to apply. I'll come to color views and I'll come here. Okay, it's always hash and it's always 6 digits, 6 digits of letters and numbers. Okay, so if I do 1A, 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 that is 6. The letters are not case sensitive, so it can be small letter, it can be capital letter. It's not case sensitive. Okay, okay, that is it. This is my rectangle that I've just given the color. This color is 10%. Sorry, I've just given the color. Uh, this color is supposed to be 90% black. Yeah, 90% black. So this is the color, 90% black. 1A, 1A, 1A. See, 1A, 1A, 1A. The same color on the color palette. Alright, the same color on the color palette. So having done that, if you also want to give this an outline, let me color it white so that we can see the outline clearly. Um, Directly, you can come here and give it an outline and then later color. But if you want to color directly, you can just come to any of the colors, either from the color palette or the document palette, and you right click. To fill, you click. To right click, to fill, you click. To give outline, you right click, and then you come here and select outline, set outline. You can see it very faint out there. If you zoom in, you see the outline. Okay, that's the outline. You can increase it from here to as much as you want. Okay, and then you can also come here to set it up more. Double click here, and you'll be able to set up other to tweak other settings like the corners, if they will be sharp, the line cap, to scale with object. Always check this. Always check scale with object and view behind if you are working on a serious project, because this can really this can really scatter your project if you're not very careful. Okay, so always check scale with object and behind view. All right, so if this is fine by you, then you can okay it. You can see the effects here. Okay, if you want to see the if you don't want a uh, if you don't want a pop-up, like what I mean by pop-up, I mean this. When you double click this, if you don't want this, if you don't want to edit from here, there's another way around it. You can come to properties. When you come to properties, you come to outline, then you see different options. Okay, you see the corners. For example, now if I zoom in very well, if I change the corners to round corners, you see this. Change it to spike corners, you see this. Okay, so that is it. That is it. You can also see the behind field and the scale with object here. What the scale with object will do for you is that so this is for the outline on this rectangle is 4 points. If you increase the size, it will not remain 4 points. It will increase accordingly to 6.19 points. Do you see that? And it is increasing accordingly with the size of the rectangle, so that the size so that it adjusts to accommodate the growing size of the rectangle or the shrinking size of the rectangle. So if I shrink the rectangle, it shrinks to 2.68 points. You see that? 2.68 points. Right. But if you do not check this scale with objects, and you increase this, it remains 2.68. It will not give you the same outline thickness as you had when it was small. Say outline thickness. Now, if you increase this, it's no longer proportional. It's no longer proportional with the rectangle as you created it. Okay, so always check this when you have the right outline thickness. Always check this. Okay, so that is it for fills and outlines. So having shown you how to use how to do fills you know. Let me tell us about gradients. Gradients are very interesting. You will love to use them. I'll just remove this outline here now, and then I'm going to create gradients now. So gradients are very interesting. You will love to use them. They make your work stand out. They make your work look kind of solid. Okay. So I'll double click here. The fill. Now come to fountain fill. It's called fountain fill on CorelDRAW. It's called fountain fill on CorelDRAW, not gradient. Okay, but we all know it as gradient, right? So fountain fill. There are also different kinds of fill. Yeah, you can fill with texture, you can fill with patterns, you can fill with many things here. But for the sake of this class, we'll just focus on colors. So fountain fill. Okay. Now usually comes with some presets. Some presets. The good thing about this preset is that you can always add yours. You can always save a new custom gradient. Okay. So we are going to create a custom gradient here now for this shape. For this shape. So we'll click here, click on these points, click on the color, and then use the eyedropper. We can see it's showing our document palette, the exact same one we have here. So we can click here, or we can use our eyedropper if we want to pick from somewhere else. Okay, you can click your eyedropper and pick from somewhere else. All right, but we are going to pick from our document palette. We're going to pick orange here, and then you will be always come here. You will be this sand. Great. So this is a gradient. We just created a gradient now. See how nice it looks. All right. So we can take it a step further and create a mesh fill. This is what I call a mesh fill. A mesh fill is an advanced form of gradients. Mesh fill is an advanced form of gradients. Why gradients only lets you do one kind of flow. A mesh fill, you can have a color here, another color in the middle, and another color at the edge. Okay. But before we go to mesh fill, let me show you what you can do with gradients first. Okay. So we come here and we see the different types of gradient fills. This is the linear fountain fill. This is the elliptical fountain fill. If you click on this, you see the results. This in the middle, this all around it. Okay. This is the conical fountain fill. Okay. This is the rectangular fountain fill. So it's almost like the elliptical, just that this is more rectangular. You understand? It's more based on a rectangle than on a circle or ellipse. Okay. Then you can tweak your angles. Can tweak your angle of your gradient fill from here. So this is 45 degrees. See now views from here up to this point. So from here to this point. Okay. You can tweak this, let's say 7. You keep increasing, you see the effects. Okay. uh it's like skewing it. Then this is, so there are different things you can play around with here. You can play around with this arrangement, you can play around with this. Okay. So there are different options here that you can play with when it comes to gradients. Okay. um you can reverse the fill. If you want this to be here and this to be here, you don't need to go changing the colors. You can reverse fill. Okay. And when you reverse fill, it just takes effect. All right. So having shown you all of that, let's go on to mesh fill. Mesh fill. I'll bring the mesh fill out of the power clip. This is mesh fill. See, it's mesh fill on layer 1. See, mesh. Alright. Now, how do we create a mesh fill? Simple. If you have a shape, any shape at all, so long as it's a shape, not an image you imported. Okay. I'm just going to remove the outline on this one. I don't like working with outlines, really. So this is a shape. I want to give it a mesh fill. We come down here. Hmm, see mesh fill. Great. Now it creates now all these points are points that you can add colors to. All these points are points that you can add colors to. And you can also create more points. Okay? And create points on this and create points here. So you can create more points, more and more points as much as you want. So let's see what happens when we add color. We add a color here. You see that? So if we want to add another color here, this one, you see, adds around that spot. And then you can tweak this. You can click on this and drag this here to spread the color as much as you want. Okay, you can tweak the points. Tweak the points. Okay, you can add more colors here, here. So just like I told you, uh, mesh fill lets you add colors anywhere you want on the shape. It's like painting. Okay, like as though you are painting, but painting is CorelDRAW. You can spread the colors too as much as you want. You can add layers upon layers of colors. You can add layers and layers of colors, right? Don't add too many colors here so that it does not look ugly. But I'm sure you get the point. Okay, I'm sure you get the point. So this is a mesh fill that we created. You can always tell the difference between a mesh fill and a normal gradient. Alright. You can always tell the difference between mesh fill and normal gradient. Aside from the fact that you see it here. This is fountain, this is mesh, this is mesh, this is solid fill. Okay. Let me show you now. If you like this mesh fill, let me show you the mapping around it. So click on mesh, you see the mapping around it. Okay, see each point here, each point, you see the color of each point here, here. You see that? See the color of each point here, right? You can adjust accordingly, adjust as much as you want. So that is how to create a mesh fill. All right. I believe we've learned a lot about colors in this lesson. Um, we we've learned about text, we've learned about shapes, we've learned about colors, and we are constantly using our tools here. Lastly, before we wrap up, let me just show you the use of these eyedroppers. Okay, eyedropper. So if you take this eyedropper, pick a color, to change it to a bucket for you to pour somewhere. Now, if this bucket shows this, if it shows you that, it means it wants to apply it to the outline. If it shows you this, it means it wants to apply it to fill. Do you understand? So let me, this already has the outline, same outline. So I'm just going to switch it to that. So let me pick the eyedropper again. Pick this color. Okay. You have to pick a color on the workspace, not any of the palettes. So I pick this and I want to go and pour it somewhere. I'll pour it here. You see, that's the fill. My pour it here, watch, that's the outline. Okay. So to exit, remember spacebar. To always come back to select, to come back to your pick tool, spacebar. Now that eyedropper is different from this one. Okay, this one lets you add colors to your document palette. So if there is a color that is not here, you use your eyedropper from here and then you pick it and then it adds. Do you understand? It adds here. And you don't need to, it's not like this one that will convert, that will change to a bucket for you to fill the color somewhere else. Okay, this one is just for you to pick a color and quickly drop it in your document palette. All right, so that is it for for colors and colors in CorelDRAW. All right, see you in the next lesson.